all across America and around the world. This is Veterans Radio. This is Veterans Radio.
Welcome to Veterans Radio. I am Jim Fossone. I'm the officer of the deck today. We've got some great programs for you. I think you'll find very interesting. We always want to remind you, you can find more about Veterans Radio at its Facebook site or by going to veteransradio.net, where we're on the web 24/7. You can find a lot of our podcasts there as well. We post new ones every Tuesday, so you can get a new story, a new interview, something you didn't know before by going to veteransradio.net. And before we get started, we want to thank our sponsors. First up, we want to thank National Veteran Business Development Council, NVBDC.org. It was established to certify both service-disabled and veteran-owned businesses. You'll find out how they can help your business by going to NVBDC.org. We want to thank Legal Help for Veterans. Legal Help for Veterans fights for veterans' disability rights all across the nation. You can reach them at 800-693-4800 or on the web at legalhelpforveterans.com. Welcome. I am Jim Fossone, and this is Veterans Radio's Spotlight on the National Veteran Business Development Council, known as NVBDC. This is a partnership, really, between Veterans Radio and NVBDC. NVBDC is the nation's leading third-party authority for certification of veteran-owned businesses of all sizes. This was established in 2013. It's a 501c3, and NVBDC addresses the growing need to identify and certify both service-disabled and veteran-owned businesses for the corporate or commercial marketplace as well as government work. NVBDC administers a rigorous certification process designed to withstand the scrutiny of governmental and corporate entities seeking to utilize certified veteran-owned businesses. And we want to welcome to Veterans Radio today Bill Currens, who's one of those guys who went through the certification process. Bill, welcome to Veterans Radio.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate you having me on.
Well, Bill is the president and managing partner of Cornerstone Consulting Organization, sometimes referred to as CCO Consulting. I believe you're headquartered down in Tampa, Florida.
Actually, we have three companies, Jim, that we own under CCO Capital. One is CCO that you just mentioned. We're actually kind of an anti-consulting company. We were, being a veteran-owned company, we get in the foxhole and we actually, instead of pontificate like a lot of consultants, we actually go out and do. And we help our companies, our clients win the battle. We have a second company. It is down in Florida. That's PSS, Premier Staffing. They are also a proud member of the NVBDC. And underneath their umbrella, there's a third company, Interim HR. So the Premier Staffing, PSS, is what they go by, does general staffing from technical staffing, strike prevention staffing on down to just regular staffing like you would have in your Manpower or Adecco's or similar companies like that. And then the Interim HR or IHR does placements. So we do from anything from the CEO level of various companies all the way down to technical resources. So I guess there's kind of a 3-in-1 bundle here and all very, very proud members of the NVBDC, Jim.
Well, it's very interesting, the growth here, and I look at primarily CCO, the consulting or anti-consulting, and really like the concept because as military folk, and I should mention that Bill graduated from the United States Military Academy at West Point in 1993. He served both active and reserve duty till about 2003, and subsequently picked up his master's degree, MBA, in about 2002. But what I liked, Bill, about your anti-consulting company, and I watched some of the videos, you get in there and talk about, we're not just going to write you a report and put it on the shelf. We're going to get into the foxhole with you and down on the plant floor and figure out what needs to be done. So it seems like a little bit different set of experiences and deliverables, maybe from your background in industry, but also maybe from some time in the Army.
Exactly right. Well, I was a tanker, so I wasn't a ground pounder like 11 Bravos, but spent a lot of time with them. But the war, whether you're a tanker or you're combat arms, is won in the trenches, and you have to go out and fight the battle. So what we decided to do, and I spent a good bit of my time in corporate America working for large companies, and not to criticize them at all, but there was oftentimes consultants brought in to basically outline what we already knew was wrong, give us a real, pretty PowerPoint presentation and a really big fee and say, hey, here's what you need to do to go fix it. And we were like, hey, we know what we need to do. Wait a minute,
that's what we wanted you guys for.
we need additional calories or additional energy or additional warriors on the field to help us go, get significant force on mass and, on objective here, force on objective. And so that's what we provide. We say, my partner, who is not a military member that started this with me, Scott Wozniak, and I have a very similar mindset. And then Chris Ostrander, who's a 1991 grad of the Academy. He was the former president of Cooper Tire and CEO of AP Exhaust, joined us 2 years later in 2017. And we said, hey, we've got to design something different here to be able to help our clients in times of need. So although we're in the consulting space, essentially we provide subject matter experts, whether it's injection molding, CNC programming, stamping, die casting, any type of assembly, robotics automation. We have a bunch of skilled experts. And here's another hit for the, a thumbs up for the NVBDC. They have helped us grow so much, just the connections that we have, that we are now a corporate sponsor along with being a proud member for our companies. And they have a database which has helped us grow of technical experts coming out of the military. So I do want to get it on record here, Jim. Anybody with a technical career, mechanic, robotics, systems, anybody transitioning, I would definitely look at, if you want to make a single shingle or your own business, get with the NVBDC. It can help and get in their database. And also, to contact us direct, because many of our folks that we use are veterans, and a lot of that comes from the database in the NVBDC. So yeah, we got warriors that go out and actually get the job done.
Well, you jumped ahead of me a little bit, which is great, some of the value of being with NVBDC. But talk to me a little bit about the decision to go ahead and get certified and the process in doing that.
We were one of the early adapters. I think we were year 2 or year 3. And we had a tremendous amount of frustration, not to beat the government processes up, but everybody knows it's very bureaucratic. We got our VCE certification, but it just seemed like there was a lot of fraud going on out there. Anybody could just claim or make up stuff that they were a veteran-owned company. And that made the competition, a lot more wonky. I mean, we saw anything from like somebody, adds a veteran to a board and said, hey, we're veteran-owned, that doesn't interact with the business, to, just some really weird stuff that we saw with other investors taking advantage, or even going online. I mean, you could go online and fake a copy of a DD-214. So we wanted a trusted certifying body. So we did some research and we found out about Keith King and what he created. And I want to go on record and say Keith King is a remarkable, honorable Vietnam veteran. I want to say it again. He's a remarkable hero, American hero. What he's done and the sacrifices he's made behind closed doors to fight for our veterans is amazing. And the team he's put together is amazing. But what they do is they draw the line. They make sure that you are truly a veteran, that you truly own the majority of the company, that you truly are engaged in the day-to-day, that your DD-214 is legit. So they take care of folks that are truly veterans. And because he's done the right thing, taken the harder path than the easier wrong path that a lot of these certifying bodies have done, he has now became, not Keith, but the NVBDC has become the nation's largest certifying body. And they help on both ends. They help corporate sponsors be able to, access legitimate veteran-owned companies of value, and those folks that will go out there who have fought wars, who sacrificed for a nation to help give back, and also gateway the veterans to massive companies, Walmart, Chase, Ford, GM. So it's a wonderful organization. So I do want to give a plug in for them and what they've been able to do. And again, for us, it's been extremely beneficial to have this relationship. And what we're doing also is it works both ways, Jim. So we are now bringing some very large, iconic American companies like PACCAR, which is Kenworth and Peterbilt. They are so good at supporting vets. Not a member of the NVBDC yet, but they're going to be engaging as a big time member. Mercedes US, MBUSI, Mercedes-Benz US International. They're a client of ours. They're very interested. You walk into their plant in Tuscaloosa, veterans all over the wall. It's what they support, but yet unfamiliar with the NVBDC. So also anybody who's listening that is a member of the NVBDC with your clientele base, get the message out, because what we want to do is help accelerate the NVBDC to be, this large unifying body to help gateway veteran-owned businesses to the large players, because it's a win-win for both.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we turn here a little bit, Bill, as people think about getting certified and it's just another stamp or a flag up I put, what's really different about NVBDC's approach and Keith King's approach is really that networking, isn't it? So that the veteran-owned business gets exposed not only to other veteran-owned businesses, but big and small potential customers. That's really kind of unique. Have you been able to take advantage of it? It sounds like you have.
Well, yeah, in some cases that we have. Now, I'm going to say this. Each business is different. So I would say our business has the hardest hurdle of any to climb as an NVBDC member. If you're a caterer, if you're a janitorial service, if you're landscaping, if you provide a product like fasteners, screws, nuts, bolts, if you provide something straightforward, it's going to be even more beneficial. If our company goes out, Jim, if we fail, we are the fix-it company. We go out and we fix broken suppliers of these very, very large OEMs. To Ford, but not only Ford, overhead door. I can go on and just, consumer manufacturing, financial institutions, restaurant and retail. If we fail, that company may fail. So it's very high risk. And when we first entered the market, just, the NVBDC were like, hey guys, where's our help out here? And they were actually quietly continuing to introduce us to people. But in our space, we had to build our reputation, because, you're not going to get business just because you're veteran-owned. You got to go out and earn it,
Amen.
Which we did. But now, since we've gone out and built that reputation, it lowers so many hurdles. But just going to the events. If you're interested in becoming a member, which I encourage any veteran-owned business to do, even if you're a single shingle, the cost of entry is so low for the benefit you get. Going to the events and being able to sit across from a 60, 80, $100 billion company for you to help gateway your business in. And that's where these one-on-one networkings occur. It's worth all the value in the world. And that's where the NVBDC provides help, is they have 4 or 5 events every year where they bring in these large billion-dollar roundtable sponsors. That means that they spend $1 billion or more each year, each of these companies, in just diversity spend alone, which, service disabled and veteran-owned businesses is a diversity category spend. To align you up face-to-face with these decision makers. So there couldn't be a better venue. And I would say the NVBDC, not only that, the altruistic way. Keith's had to make a lot of sacrifices. Get to know Keith. He is a great guy, an American hero, not only from the time he fought. There's not too many of those Vietnam vets left, but what he's doing now, standing in the gap to defend our veterans, to give them the right amount of attention, and to make sure that it's truly veteran-owned companies, not fraud or other things happening, is of extreme value. So that's, for all those reasons and a whole lot more, why we wanted to become, a member of the NVBDC. as a member, as a veteran-owned company. And again, now since we've, exploded past 100 million a year, and we continue to grow, we know it's going to be the NVBDC. It's time for us to give back and start hiring vets ourselves, which we have a program. And the easiest way to get veteran-owned intake is to be a sponsor of the NVBDC. So now we're sitting on both sides because I get the best of both worlds. Not only are we a member and we have access to a lot of these large companies, more importantly, we have access to veterans transitioning out of the military, joining the company, starting their own businesses that could come in and subcontract for us and do a fascinating and wonderful work all around the world.
We're talking to Bill Currens, who is the president and managing partner of a group of companies, Cornerstone Consulting organization. Let me back up, though, Bill. I mentioned at the outset you went to West Point. How did a nice kid like you end up at West Point?
I'm an old country, truly a redneck, I guess, in the way of I had sunburn on my neck because I was out in the farms, fields, baling straw, baling hay, feeding the cows, cleaning the pigsty, South Central Ohio. I went to a very rural school called Logan Elm. Parents were lower middle class or upper lower class. My dad was a blue collar sheet metal worker. Not enough money, had enough money to put 3 squares on the table and have 5 good outfits. Not enough to go to college. And so I focused on academics and football and community service. I was an Eagle Scout. I needed to create ways that, because my parents wasn't going to financially be able to pay for the way. I wound up being an all-state football player, outside linebacker. In high school, had some offers, several Division I colleges, including Penn State and West Virginia way back in the day. Also had some academic scholarships offered from some Ivy League schools to go also play football. Taking my visits, I went to West Point and said, this is the hardest doggone thing and the most honorable thing I could possibly do. I was a knucklehead, always wanted to challenge myself. Went in as a football player, got an appointment from now our governor, Mike DeWine. He was a congressman way back in the day, and went there, got an engineering degree in civil engineering, played football all 4 years. Started part of my junior year. I had a really good friend of mine that got hurt that was ahead of me in the depth chart. And then my senior year was the starter at tight end. And I learned a lot from West Point. A lot of it is how not to treat people, believe it or not, with some of the nonsense that went on there. But I learned a lot about character, leadership. And that carried on into my military career because we had, 9/11. I was in my reserve unit. We had an enemy prisoner of war CI unit. And we just got done serving a rotation with Kosovo with Milosevic when that was happening. And we were running the jail over there. And then 9/11 hits and there was no TSA, and all those experiences from West Point and the leadership and the stress, nothing was ever more stressful than, being a plebe at West Point. And when we, had to face some of those R categories, we were bringing bad guys back from Afghanistan to Guantanamo in my unit. And the other half of the unit was actually doing security because there was no TSA at the time. So those lessons at West Point and why I went into West Point is because I want to get back to the country. I wanted to serve. And even today, we serve very proud American companies, help them stand up on their own, help them get out of pickles, help provide livelihoods and good career paths for many people. Love what I do and love the path I took. And it's one of servitude, and it's one of, to help others continue to get better.
Well, one of the things that certainly comes out of this, Bill, and you've kind of alluded to it, is, your military career gave you a certain focus and discipline and ability to work on hard things to get them accomplished. But certainly that carried through your professional career at such big-name companies as Visteon, the Carlyle Group, and Lear Corporation, and now running your own shop with a couple of great guys. I ask a lot of guys who've been in the military and have some exposure to it, is it something today that you'd recommend to your kids or your grandkids? Is it still got the lure that drove that farm boy to give it a chance?
Look, it is a different world. What I'm going to sound old school here because I am old school and getting old, but there is nothing better if you're a young man or woman and you don't have a clear shot at college, or even if you're going to college, get in the reserves, get into an ROTC program. What I learned, I knew really nothing about the military. All I knew was this was a really cool school and it was a chance to serve my country. I didn't even know how to salute when I came in to West Point. I learned pretty darn quick in the first 2 or 3 minutes, but when they turned the wolves loose, and all that's part of the growing experience. But whether it's West Point or just regular, my son, I'm very proud of him. He's a police officer in Lorain. He is a master sergeant in the military and continuing his career in the reserves. It made a ton of difference for my older son. My younger son's type 1 diabetic, so he can't participate, but his exposure to Army athletics and just the Army in general has been phenomenal. Even for my daughters, I would highly, highly recommend because there's a lot of things thrown at you. It's this, instant that, with what we have going on in our society today and all of the craziness. It is that foundation that will last you a lifetime if you go in, and it will provide you discipline, responsibility, accountability. It will show you how to mature as a young man or woman, and it will provide you a platform that will serve you the rest of your life. So I strongly recommend, whatever branch it is, seriously consider becoming a member of our armed forces.
Well, and as you've mentioned earlier, you quickly learned leadership skills at a level that would have taken years and years to learn, but you kind of get thrown in it right away. And again, that all carries over to the rest of your career. Most folks only serve for 4 or 8 years kind of thing and then get out and they've got the rest of their life, but those leadership skills last forever. And we're talking to Bill Currens, who's the president and managing partner of Cornerstone Consulting group of companies. We're doing this to spotlight NVBDC organizations, and his companies are both members and corporate sponsors of NVBDC. And if you want to know more about that organization that certifies, does third-party certification of veteran-owned businesses, go to nvbdc.org. And Bill, if folks want to know more about your companies and the services you provide, because maybe somebody's listening and saying, I could really bring in a consultant, but I've had such bad luck with guys, I'm reluctant to. Maybe I need the anti-consultants, or I need some staffing help or placement help. How do they track you down?
Well, first, thank you for that, Jim. If you call us and you're in trouble and you need help, buckle up, because we're going to fix it. It is going to get fixed. So that's the one thing I caution is we are delivery boys and girls, not messenger boys and girls. And everything we drive into with full heart and spirit to win the battle for you as a client. The best way to get a hold of us on that front is CCOconsulting.com, as in Charlie Oscar Consulting.com, www.ccoconsulting.com. The best way, and I want to put one more plug in here, the very best way for you if you want a career with us, which is extremely exciting, especially for young men and women with technical skills, any kind of skills, coming out of the military. We want to provide an avenue and a career opportunity for you. The best way to get in front of us is resume. It's an email, resume@ccoconsulting.com. Not resumes, just resume, one word, resume@ccoconsulting.com, because we want to help provide career opportunities to those who've served our country as well, Jim.
Bill, thanks for your time today talking to Veterans Radio to learn more about not only what NVBDC can do, but more about the Cornerstone Consulting organization and all the things that you're doing and bringing passion to make sure businesses are successful and provide opportunities for veterans transitioning out of the military. Bill, thanks for your time today.
Absolutely. And thanks a lot, Jim. And hey, for all you out there that are thinking about, go get certified. Don't wait. Go do it.
And I want to thank everybody for listening to Veterans Radio today. I am Jim Fausone. It's been a pleasure to be your host. I'm a veterans disability lawyer at Legal Help for Veterans, and you can reach us at 800-693-4800 or legalhelpforveterans.com on the web. You can follow Veterans Radio on Facebook and listen to its podcasts and internet radio shows by going to veteransradio.net. And until next time, you are dismissed.
If you have a VA claim denied by the Board of Veterans' Appeals, contact Legal Help for Veterans at 1-800-693-4800. They're experts in handling cases before the U.S. Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims. Their number again, 1-800-693-4800.
We again want to thank our national sponsors, the National Veterans Business Development Council, NVBDC.org, VA Ann Arbor Health Care System, the Vietnam Veterans of America Charles S. Kettles Chapter, Ann Arbor, Michigan, VFW Graf O'Hara Post 423 in Ann Arbor, and the American Legion Press Corn Post 46, also in Ann Arbor. We appreciate all your support. You can go to veteransradio.net, click on the sponsor level, and continue to support keeping Veterans Radio on the air. And until next time, you are dismissed.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.